What's going on, guys? It's your boy Caleb here, bringing you a trading video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I chart and how I find support and resistance levels / zones for my trades for the previous day. So without further ado, we're going to hop over to my desktop and we're going to get right into it. Alright, so here we are. We're on SPY. We're looking at SPY charts right now, and we're going to turn off our indicators. I'm going to have to turn off the RSI, but we're going to turn off the EMA and the VWAP. We don't need to see those. And we're going to delete all of our drawings because I can redraw them because everything still is the same on the chart. So I always start on my daily time frames and I work my way down all the way down to the 5 minute. I only ever use the 2 minute intraday, so we won't be using the 2 minute for real in this video, but we will be working our way down from the daily down to the 5 minute. So we come here to our most recent day today. The first thing I'm going to do whenever I look for setups is I'm going to mark our most recent day's low point. So that's going to be here, and that day's high, and that's going to be here at $400.23. Boom. Why do I do this? I look for, so the next day I look for a price to either open below. If it opens below, I'm obviously going to play puts, or I look for it to push up above, and if it pushes up, I'm going to play calls. Now that we have that out of the way, we're going to change these colors. This one we're going to change to red, and this one we're going to change to green. We're going to lock those in place so that way they can't be moved. Now we're going to work our way down to the 4 hour. 4 hour is going to look a little bit different because now our extended hours is included on the chart. We're going to come here and we're going to mark any significant places where we see price touches a lot. So if we look closely, we don't even have to look too closely. Price looks to touch quite a few times in this area here. So we'll mark this for the next day, and we'll change that to white. I make it bold and I dot line it, and that's going to be our put price target. So if we open below this red line tomorrow and I decide to play puts, this is the first place I would be looking to sell my puts. So another thing we're going to look for on our daily time frame are zones where price either makes sharp drops, steep drops, or price makes steep rises, or yeah, would you say steep rises? I guess you would say steep rises. I don't know. Steep inclines. I don't know, something like that. I would say about here would be a supply zone, a worthy valid supply zone. Supply, because if we're running to supply, we'd be going down, right? At supply, there's a lot of orders for people selling, supply, sell. Think of it that way, right? Now, why do I say this would be a valid supply zone? If we look here, so we come here, boom, price drops down once, we come back up here, price really drops down, so it's already twice. Now we have price moving here, and we're going to make that a demand zone in just a moment, but let me finish talking about this supply zone first. Price comes here, gets close to the supply zone, kind of stalls out, comes into the supply zone, short drop, back into the supply zone, big drop, and now we're making our way back into it now. So it would not be too irrational to think that if price were to enter this supply zone again, that it may drop, or if it were to enter this zone and it were to get above, it's not too crazy to think that it may come up to here and treat this supply zone as a demand zone. Supply zones can turn into demand zones, and demand zones can turn into supply zones. But it's not too irrational to think that if we were to come here, price may start to reverse. Because in the most recent past, that's what has happened, right? Every time we come to the supply zone, we tend to drop. Now we're going to look for the opposite, where are places where supply, or not supply, but price rallies. Well, if we look here, we see price rallies after it's around this region, right? Rallies up into here, into our supply zone. If we look here, our most recent, choppy few days, it's been a choppy last couple weeks to trade the market, but if we look at this little choppy area, price is now starting to rise out of here. So what we can do here is draw a small demand zone. People may think this is a good place to enter positions. I'm gonna make this green for demand. Price left around here, so we'll add another one here, another zone here, and nothing has to be exact in trading. You just have to have a general idea. Now we have our supply zones, we have our demand zones drawn. So we're going to use these as targets. So this would be our target for upside. If price were to open above this green line tomorrow and we were to play calls, we would look to sell our calls anywhere in this red zone. These are the zones or levels I'd be looking to break if we break below this red line. Break and close below this red line. We look for puts. In the first place, we look to sell our puts, which is going to be here at 392. So tomorrow for the 0-day expirations, we could look to sell all the way down to this 392 even. If price were to come up, we would be looking to enter like $400 calls and possibly selling them anywhere in this area. See, it's really simple. There's not like you don't want to overanalyze, you don't want to underanalyze. I see another level I can draw. We'll draw right here. Price seems to touch this and respect this area a lot right here. Make this a straight line. Change this to white and make it a dotted line. As you see, we touched here like once, close to it twice, 3 times here within the last, and we also spent a lot of time up here today within the last 3 trading sessions. You know, that area has been touched a lot and respected. We'll move on down to the 1 hour, see if there's anything that we could add. If you look closely, you can see a pattern here. So price rises up and now it's kind of flagging out. And I'll just draw that here real quick. It's like this, up, and then flagging this way, right? Something like that. So you could be looking for price to break under this. It breaks under this. Of course, it's not crazy to assume, you know, puts under. You get the point. You get the point. And I'm going to say a lot of the same stuff. Oh, shit, I did not mean to do that. I'm going to say a lot of the same stuff over and over again because a lot of it is just repetition. Just learning how to do the same thing over and over again without changing, without letting emotions, you know, change how you trade. We'll come down here to the 15-minute. Like we could say price may act strange around here at 396.04, but I wouldn't. I'll just wait till like pre-market opens and we'll see what levels it wants to give us pre-market. But for right now, these are, you know, I say these are pretty solid levels to trade off of, and that's pretty much how I chart for the day. I go through up until like I don't see any more like super important levels. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else that, you know, would be, you know, crazily important to mark that we already haven't marked. That's not saying something else that we've already been saying for the last, you know, 10 minutes or so. So now we're going to go ahead and turn our indicators back on. That's going to pretty much conclude everything I had to say for this video. I'll show you guys my pre-market process tomorrow. Even though I really don't have a pre-market process, this is really pretty much how I trade. Set these levels, trade by these levels, look for patterns during the day while we're trading that day. And I trade puts under the VWAP, under the 9 EMA. I trade calls above the VWAP and above the 9 EMA. It's a simple process. Simple rules to follow. You just look for major levels to break and, you know, let the trade. So that's going to be it. That's how I trade. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer them as best as I can. I want to help you guys understand as much as possible because I believe everyone should know or have access to this information. It's good information. Yeah. Alright, that's going to be it.